And we are back. Black and a Half, episode number 103. My name is Silas Lendenstein. I am your I'm one of your hosts today. It's a hostful episode again. Yay! Applause. We have Joseph Grienauer and Samantha Rund in the house, sort of.
In their own houses.
In their own house, in their quarantine. The quarantined specials continue now and forever.
They're getting less special the longer the quarantine lasts.
Oh, yeah, we do need to, instead of a special, it needs to be something else. The quarantine saga, I guess.
It's turning into a saga.
It's a saga. Yeah.
It's almost an epic. A few more months, it'll be at an epic.
Isn't it crazy that, because we're in Washington, this is Seattle's longest running comedy podcast, by the way. And we are here in Seattle, where we were the second state to like quarantine, I believe.
We were the first state to get it.
We're first state to get it. Second
we
state to quarantine.
First ones to get it.
And other states are already reopening that got it way after us. Like they think they think they were sick of it after a week, right? They were like 2 weeks and they're like, we're done. We can't handle it anymore.
Some of these people are weak. They got some weak resolve. Y'all are weak.
I'm like, we're like 2 months in now, I think.
I don't know. Just cut your own hair.
Just cut your own hair, motherfuckers.
Okay, this is a podcast, and I don't know. I don't think the video feed is going out, thank God. But yeah. I'm with the Beckys and the Karens or Sharons or whatever they're calling them now. I want a haircut. I feel their pain. I understand what they're talking about. I'm staying in my house. Okay, like I also understand that my vanity, you remember that movie was Al Pacino and Keanu Reeves where Al Pacino's the devil?
Yeah.
Yeah, and at the end of the movie, after Keanu Reeves wins his soul back and everything like that, they reset the whole thing and the devil re-tempts him. Only this time he goes for a different sin, right? Because he was going for greed before. But this time he starts tempting him with his own ego. And at the end, the last line of the movie, Al Pacino is looking in the window and he says, "Vanity, it's my favorite sin." And I feel like these people, it's like, dude, these are all Bible-thumping Christian gun-toting types, vanity is a sin. You don't need a haircut. You need to shut up and go home. Stay in your house.
Yeah, I mean, I get, like you were saying, I get it if people want a haircut, they feel uncomfortable, this or that. But it's like, what do you want more? How about your own safety or the safety of other people? How about that?
Yeah, I want a haircut, but I also want to live long enough to want a haircut.
I just love that that's the hill they went to protest with. Not a sign saying, I have free rights to do what I want, or I have free rights to leave my home, or I want to jump. They said, I'm going to write, I want a haircut, just to show why you should take me seriously. I want a haircut.
I like the My Body, My Choice ones. Those really got me. That was fucking great. Like, where have you been for the last 50 years?
The most hilarious one that I saw, though, was, it was lift the quarantine or we all do acid.
I think that, you know what? If I were the governor, I'd be like, yeah, do acid. Just stay at home on acid. Just do whatever you want. Just do it in your own fucking house. They left all the weed places open. And I love how this conservative guy's like, how come weed and liquor those are, essential business? It's like, dude, you're asking people to stay home. Let them get fucked up. At least let us get fucked up. We can't go somewhere.
You're right.
Well, I feel like if somebody does have an alcohol problem and they can't just cut cold turkey, they'll die.
No.
If you're an alcoholic and they did that in Pennsylvania. They shut down liquor stores and they found out right away, like, oh no, we got to reopen this stuff because that's not gonna work.
Yeah. No.
I think with a lot of those alcoholics, they'll end up just getting the box wine and boiling it down to brandy if they have to. But
I don't know. I got to check this out the next time I go to Costco. but I saw that they've got these wine popsicles they're coming out with now.
Ooh.
You know, like those little, like long black ones. Different wine.
I have never seen Joe so excited about a product.
I like this. It's like an otter pop, but it's got a shot in it. This is great.
Right?
They need to start making. This is wonderful. They need to start making like these. What's these things everybody's drinking now? The White Claw.
Yeah.
They need to start making those in popsicle form.
Yeah.
I want a White Claw popsicle.
You can't freeze vodka. Yeah. But
those things they're wonderful. They're like little soda pops. They're little soda pops, and they're all full of potato liquor.
Yeah. So if you're at home in this saga of quarantine, kick back an Otter Pop or an alcohol pop or whatever your finest beverage is, and listen to this next great episode of Black and a Half. It's a hostful. If you are. Hey, and if you enjoy this episode, please go to iTunes, subscribe, leave a rating, all of that good business. And if you really like the show, go to patreon.com/blackandahalf and become a patron like our founding member, Stefan Ward. He's a founding member.
Oh, and, is he really? He's great.
Yeah.
I love the Ward brothers. They're very funny.
They're the pun masters of the Northwest.
Yeah, they're great. They're really entertaining.
So, do all that and listen and enjoy us talk about what's going on, about my almost fight and some other things that have been happening here in our quarantined lives. So, listen up. Episode number 103. Still quarantined.
Stand by to receive our transmission. Stand by to receive our transmission. Stand by, stand by, stand by, stand by. Join us. Impressive. Join us. Impressive. Join us. Impressive. Live long and prosper and prosper and prosper and prosper.
I have a lot to do right now. I could sit and breathe on the couch. I could lie down and breathe on the couch. I could roll onto the floor and breathe. I can crawl into the bedroom and breathe.
Has everyone had enough of this?
What?
This whole...
I'm done with it. Sure. I'm ready to keep going. I'll keep going just because we have to. But it's getting tedious.
It's getting hard, even just to muster to the podcast to go. Okay, I got to set up a Zoom. We're gonna record. I'm like, I just want to do this in person. I want to. It's like I even went out today because I had to show a house, but I was like,
were y'all geared up?
Yeah, I put on masks and they weren't the best at distancing from me, but it's still like this whole hands off thing that I'm not used to, keeping used to shake.
Normally touch your people.
Shake their hand. It's very weird to not shake people's hand, I feel.
Yeah, I was doing the elbow bump, but even now I'm like 6 feet.
I don't want to get close to him.
Maybe we should. You know what? I think there's a social need, and maybe even right here tonight we could solve it. Like, is there a thing we could invent? Like, is there like a handshaking stick, like a selfie stick, a retractable thing, and on the end of it is a hand, and you shake someone's hand with it.
I think if you're going to do that, we could invent a dual holster, because on one side you're going to need the Lysol, because after you shake their hand, you're going to need to Lysol it off, the apparatus, before it comes.
Yeah, or you could have a second extendable hand with Lysol on it,
Or else we could just start doing hands like Pez dispensers.
Oh.
But not enough to be disposable. It also has to be edible, so it can feed the earth.
Yeah, biodegradable, or at least something a dog might want.
You're right.
A little chew toy, and then all the give them a hand jokes are gonna get just off the hook.
Give them a hand.
people are going to start losing it over this. I like the Pez analogy, though. You know, just have another hand just pop out like Voltron or something. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm going crazy. I think I'm on the edge. Like I got in a did you guys see I almost got in a fight with somebody?
Oh, people are wound tight, and yeah, I saw that. That's kind of scary, but people are wound real tight right now.
And I will say I did realize a little bit later that it was. I mean, like it was. I want to say that it was my my fault at all. I will say that I didn't help the situation. Maybe I could have de-escalated, but I got so mad because what happened was I was telling the people that haven't read my post. So I was going to Fred Meyer's. I had to run in there to grab a couple things real quick, and I had my kids, and I don't usually go there anymore with my kids, but I had to. And I'm like, well, okay, I need to get this, so. I went and I unbuckled Willow, and there was something like on my phone, like someone was messaging me. And so I unbuckled her, and then like I ran. She usually gets out of the car seat or fast herself. So I was running around to go get Finn, and Finn's 2, and he's like just doing stuff all the time and back. And so like I was messing around with him, and I had my phone in my hand, but I don't think I was actually on it or anything. But suddenly I hear a guy yelling at me. Like, get off the phone. I'm like, what? Huh? I turn around and the guy's in his car, like in the driver's seat. Like he wants to get out. Like he was the car next to us, which I had parked. There was 2 spots. So he must have pulled in at some point when I pulled in. I didn't notice him.
Yeah. Excuse me, sir, is a much better way to begin that exchange.
And I turned around. I'm like, can you hold on? He's like, come on, hurry up. I'm like, and I wanted to move, but I had already opened the car door, so I couldn't really go around again. And I'm like, you can move. I said, you can move and get up. He's like, 6 feet away. I'm like, oh yeah. And then I'm like, okay. And then I just stood there. I crossed my arms and I leaned back on the car. I'm like, and I go, what you gonna do? And he's like, oh, he got all mad, and he had a mask on, right? And he gets up out of the car, and then he shoves his car door open, and it hits me. And I'm like, whoa, like I lost it. I'm like, I'm going to hit this guy. He just hit me with the car. And I'm like, that's
assault.
I said that. I said, that is assault. That is assault. And he's like, call the cops. And I'm like, and then my son started crying. And I'm like, motherfucker. Like, and then like, well, and some other woman,
you can't call the cops with the kids there. That's a big hassle.
Some other woman was there. Like, she was like, there's kids around, like to the guy. Cause he was like, yeah, you fucking ass. Like he called and started swearing at me. And I'm like, I was like going nuts, and I wanted to get around the car to Willow. And then I like realized the car door was a little stuck, and I'm like, wait, hold on. And so I'm like, I'm going to call and I was like, I don't know, I'm going to call the cops. So I got Finn out, and then the car door. So the guy was right next to me. Right. And so the door had opened, and it wasn't, I had opened the door, and it was next to his car. Like it wasn't, I didn't hit his car, but when he got out of the car, he was a little bigger of a guy, a little taller. The car had raised up a little into my door.
Ooh.
So I moved the car, and I saw a big scrape from my car on it. And I don't know if it was my paint. And I said, all right, everyone back in the car. I said, get back in. Because I was like, I took his pictures of his plate. That was deciding what to do. And I got them all back in the car, and I just drove to the other side of the parking lot. So, because I didn't want him to, like, if he saw the damage, I was like, I don't want him to have my license plate number. Well, I'm like, that's karma.
Well, maybe you got what he did. Maybe, karma right
and
there.
Then I was like, well, I think it's even. I don't really have witnesses, like, to say that he did hit me. I don't, like, have an injury to show that he hit. It would just been my word against his. And if I did cause damage, like, he knew he saw me taking pictures of his car. So I'm satisfied right now with him maybe being a little tense about this exchange, that maybe someone's going to show up. Right? Mm-hmm. I don't know.
So at the very beginning, you were back into the car and you were on your phone, and he just yells at you because he wants to get out.
He thinks that I'm on my phone as I'm leaning in to get Finn. And I was just trying to unbuckle him and get things out of his hands that he always has. I just had the phone in my hand. Yeah, I've done this before where I've been there and the person next to me is oblivious that someone's trying to get out. And I usually just sit there and wait. Like, okay. And I'll make fun of them.
There was no need for him to be that hostile.
Right.
Right.
I mean, I honestly don't remember how long I was there. Maybe it was longer than I thought. But it didn't seem like I was taken aback. And
I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of it's just the tension is so high right now because everybody's kind of in this constant, I think what's scary is that it's hitting our like fight or flight mechanism, right?
Yeah.
And it's like with this disease, you can't run. There's nowhere to go. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
So you can only hide, right? And that's basically your options. You want to run and hide. And some people want to stand and fight. And they're going out and they're getting aggressive. And, it's just part of like, I think the natural endorphins and the body's reaction to stress. We're all under distress. But it's kind of crazy what it brings out of people.
Have you found yourself, Joe, like snap at anybody for no reason or?
No, I mean, I think everybody I've been definitely feeling the stress and I think it's not been, my behavior patterns probably changed and it's a little weirder than it was before, but anger is not usually the first thing I go to as a typical thing. I have been exercising a lot in my house, which I think really helps to get the, I don't know, get the rage out.
Yeah.
But I'm also kind of busy. Like I stay busy. I'm not stir crazy.
What are some of the things you do other than this? Of course.
I mean, I work. I'm still working.
Mm-hmm.
And but I work for myself. I work in a greenhouse, so I just go to the greenhouse and just do my greenhouse work, and that's very therapeutic. I enjoy doing that. Normally, I don't have a lot of time to do that. It's like I have so many other priorities, things that I'm trying to do. So, in a way, it's kind of I don't want to brag and that like, oh, look at me, I got something to do, but a lot of people don't.
I'm
a
gardening.
lot of people,
yeah,
and I don't know. I think it's weird. Like we're definitely seeing in a very raw way a lot of things that we weren't noticing before, or at least I think a lot of people were noticing, but it's now so much more evident. It's really hard to hide it the way we were, but income disparity and how it's affecting people and how some people have to quarantine in a tiny apartment with a family and extended family and all that stuff. Cause that's just, how they're living. And then just people like me and I live alone in a giant house. So it's like, there's a huge difference. And
I've wondered if it was worse for you being in a giant house.
It gets very lonely. My brother, here's a funny thing. My brother's living in Portland and he's got some roommates and they're having a birthday party this weekend, I guess. And he's been really diligent. He's been very responsible about quarantining. So he's mad as hell because like, I don't know. This sounds like it's not going to be a lot of people and they're going to try to do some social, whatever. The point is they're having some people over to their house for a party. And he's like, fuck this, I'm out. So he asked if he could come stay up here. So my brother is actually going to come stay with me for the next 3 weeks.
Oh, that's good. And yeah, for your brother, I'd be super mad too.
Did he take off hopefully he leaves before they come
He's
over.
leaving, the party's this weekend, and I think he's leaving tomorrow.
Okay, good. Because that would suck for him to come over after he's been.
Well, what sucks is that he broke his foot. He didn't break his foot. He tore his Achilles. He has a foot injury. So he's been laid up just like, if you're going to have an injury where you can't really move, I guess quarantine's the best time to have it because everyone's stuck in the house anyway. But, but yeah, he couldn't, he's not really ambulatory, you know. But now his foot's getting better. So I think this is actually like the perfect time for him to actually, to leave. You can actually do the driving and whatnot.
Well, that's nice. That's good. You'll have somebody there a new face.
Yeah, it's weird. The irony is that like I see the lady that because where I work there's two businesses and I'm the owner operator of mine, so I'm there, and then the owner operator of the flower shop, she's there. So I see the florist, and then I see my kid for half the days because I got him 50-50, and then I see my ex-wife.
Yeah,
and of all the people I get to see on a regular basis, why does it have to be my ex-wife? I mean, she's been fairly cool. There's been a couple of moments because, again, everybody's like tense, but really, she's been pretty cool.
You can't say that,
but
Joe. You can't say that.
I'm trying to be nice and keep.
Yeah,
Look,
but every time you say something nice, something bad happens.
That's true. Every time I say something nice, we get in a fight.
About her, they get in a fight. You got to stop saying nice shit about her.
I'll just stop
and
saying nice
everything will
stuff
be
about
smooth.
But yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, it's a weird thing. That's like, used to be we dropped the kid off at school and then the other parent would pick him up. So like, you never had to see each other.
Oh,
like,
I love that.
It worked
that
really, really
so
well.
Awesome.
It was a good way to do like the custody exchange just through the school.
Absolutely.
And now there's no school. Teacher daddy.
Yeah. Wait, is your kid in kindergarten?
Huh?
Mike?
Not yours. You don't have one.
No, I didn't hear you.
Is your kid in kindergarten?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel so lucky that my littles are not in school yet, so I don't have to worry about any.
Yeah, I'm not really worried about it either. I mean, it's like, he's in kindergarten and, if he's not going to flunk it, They sing songs, they learn the alphabet.
I think the hard part about kindergarten is, I think so much about it is the socialization aspect.
Well, that's out the window.
Yeah, I know.
We got a whole bunch of freaks. Once this thing ends and we release the children back into interaction with each other, it's gonna be a freaky showdown. It's gonna be all these quarantine kids with all their little idiosyncrasies and stuff.
I gotta wash my hands. I gotta wash my hands.
They've been manipulating their parents into iPad screen time for the last 9 months, and they're all going to come out of quarantine trying to pull their little psychological tricks that work for just literally like 2 people, right? These tricks just work and the teacher's going to not having any of this bullshit. They're going to have fun whipping these kids back into shape.
I enjoy the teachers pretending they have work to do now because they don't want to get fired. So they're like,
yeah,
no, here, let me send you a message. Let me do this. Yeah, I'm totally working.
Our teacher does in-person like FaceTimes with the kids and has 2 half-hour appointments a week with each kid.
They should.
When you add those all up, she's probably on the FaceTime like 4 hours a day talking to one kid at a time.
Is that a private school?
Yeah, it's a Spanish immersion school. It's a preschool.
Yeah. Oh, an immersion school too. That's a little.
Yeah, I'm trying to teach my kid at home in Spanish. I don't. Hello, white boy here. I don't speak Spanish that good, so
I can't talk to my child now. I'll ruin his.
Well,
Spanish.
It's just hard to teach him. It's weird because I learned my Spanish is actually not bad, but I learned it from cooks and taxi drivers and waiters. Those people are just talking to people. First, working in America in kitchens, and then also like traveling to Latin America. But all the people I'm meeting are just like. The guy driving me to the restaurant, and I don't know anybody. So it's just like, learning from the people you talk to, which is the people you interact with. So cab drivers and cooks, basically.
Yeah.
And I can speak okay. I can carry on a pretty decent conversation, but now I have to like learn how you're supposed to conjugate all these vowels and everything.
Yeah.
And oh my God, it's making my brain hurt. I'm actually like trying to properly learn it now. It's like, what was I doing before? I was getting by, I guess. I don't know, but every day when I'm done, I'm like, my head really hurts. Like I'm supposed to be teaching him, but it's my head that hurts.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going back to school. It really sucks. I hated school. When I was done with school, I'm like, I'm done with school. And then now that I have to teach him, I'm like, no, this was somebody else's job before. This is an outsource.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can teach him the good stuff, like, how to wipe his butt, wash his hands. That stuff is good. I'm good with that. But once you have to crack open a book and then,
I got a bidet now. I can't even teach that.
Well, they'll grow up civilized.
Yeah. Samantha, you're in the opposite situation where you're like in a tiny place.
It's not tiny.
Well,
you said so tiny.
It's an apartment, right?
Yeah.
You can't have a giant apartment, right?
No, but it's not a studio.
Well, compared to Joe has a large house. I don't know if you've been there.
I know you guys both have houses. I do not.
Joe's makes my house look like a studio apartment.
I live in a castle on a shovel full of dirt.
It's like
a weird house.
three.
It's right on the corner of a street.
He's
and
got
it's a
3
small
stories
lot.
in his house. I mean, it's big.
Wow.
Well, basement. The basement's one of the stories, but that's a.
It's a 2-story house. Before you buy it, it's 1 story, and then after you move in, it's a completely different story.
You guys, I'm in the Harry Potter closet.
What?
Homes, right?
But you're with somebody there, right? That
Yeah.
you see all the time.
Yeah.
Joe's by himself. Besides his
Yeah.
kid and his ex-wife. But do you are you going out to get space? Do you guys need space from each other at all? Or are you just like, this is awesome? 100%. 24/7.
Pretty much the second one, honestly, but I feel like I need to knock on wood. Because like we do our own things for like a good chunk of the day. So there's part of the day where I'm gonna knock on some wood because I'll be like, it's great. No, you gotta knock
fight
wood
tonight.
But you don't want to say anything nice, remember? Don't say anything nice.
You just want to be real careful. No, I'm definitely grateful for, it's horrible that this is the way, like what's going on in the world right now. It's scary, it's frightening, it's horrible. But I'm looking at the silver lining that like I'm glad I wasn't in the situation I was in like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
Or, like a different point in my adult life. Like it. So I don't know. But yeah, it's just, I think for people, if you're quarantining alone or self-isolating alone, whatever, there are certain challenges of like the loneliness factor.
Yeah.
But then if you're in the same space with a roommate or a significant other or whoever, it's just kind of also about like being a grown up and managing your own emotions, because everybody is under a lot of stress right now. So if I feel like if you're not being aware, you might accidentally dump that on the person you're with,
I did want to ask you something, since you're a couple, you're a non-married couple. And I was listening to a dating advice thing today. And I was like, oh, that's a great idea. But I'm like, I don't know how we can do it with kids. Like, have you done any dates? Like, where you can't go anywhere, but where you, like, they were suggesting that you should have nights where you dress up for dinner, or like go like you were going to go out, but you dress up and you like put out the,
I like this idea. Light some candles, have a bottle of wine, put some music on.
Yeah. They said you got to treat it like a date, like you're going out, and it's really helpful. Like, have you done any of those things?
And then overeat. And at the end, you're too full to fuck. I think it sounds great.
That's marriage.
Oh boy. Funny you should mention it, because I just mentioned that the other day. I was like, we should make a date night. Like dance or something. Just to, try to switch up the monotony of days. Yeah. I mean, we haven't done that, but I mean, not to that extent yet.
Right.
Yeah. But I've definitely had certain days where I'm just like, I feel like I'm being a scrub too much. So like, I'm just going to wear a dress and go about the day.
Is a dress a casual thing? Is that when you're casual?
Well,
I always think dresses is a little more like,
some are more casual than others.
I guess I always thought that the dress was the more work.
Well, it depends. I mean, a dress can be like take a lot less time. It looks like you put in more effort for less effort. But it depends on the type of dress.
I should wear more dresses.
Yeah, right. No, but I'm so not kidding you. I seriously, aside of the fact that I'm not supposed to be on Amazon, but I still do shop on Amazon. I was looking for like ball gowns and stuff to wear just around the house to trick myself into feeling more magical.
I like that idea. That's good.
I was like, but do I really want to spend this money right now when I need to be saving it? Because who knows Or,
well, if you have money that you can save, it's the perfect time because holy smokes, if you're looking at investing in anything, it's all cheap.
huh?
Everything's cheap. Stock market's cheap. Real estate's getting cheap. Everything's
What?
getting cheap. If you want to invest,
Real estate is
yeah.
not cheap right now.
oh, it's going to be. You just wait. You just wait.
Maybe.
No one's paying their rent, dog. People are missing their mortgage payments.
They're not missing them yet. Most people are on, forbearance. Give it a few times. But here's the thing. I'll tell you.
Give a few months.
And then, this is the real estate corner section of the show. I took a couple to go see it was like an $825,000 home, right? They got 9 offers. It sold for $907.
Wow.
With the highest one they would have gone up to $957, the highest offer for an escalation. And I'm hearing this from a lot of people. There's so little inventory, everything's getting bid on huge. Like it hasn't slowed people down. And I'm hearing this across the nation from other agents. They're saying like, it's crazy. Everything is crazy right now because so many people want. And I think, like there's one perspective of how people are going to be looking at their home a little different now that they've been.
Yeah. People are going to want bigger homes with more weird shit in
and
it.
Maybe
like
a little nicer.
To hide and stuff.
safe
really.
Rooms.
People are going to want like safe rooms or storerooms or, weird little extra things for, pandemic or worldwide, whatever. I think maybe also things like, I think we're going to start seeing more things like people trying to go off grid with solar panels and water recyclers and that kind of stuff. Because, if the grid fails or whatever, we're all screwed. What I'm worried about, and we're starting to see it a little bit with like the meat shutdown and everything, is if the food distribution or whatever, or the thing really crumbles, what's going to happen in a place like Los Angeles? Where like LA County has got like 10 million people or something. There's no farms, no food. Once everybody eats up whatever is sitting around, which would take a month, what's next? Cannibalism, right? I mean, it's going to be crazy.
Like, you see, that? I don't know who this person is. I saw it on, I think it was John Oliver or something. He was talking about some right-wing guy who's all talking about how he's going to eat his neighbors. Did you hear about that?
There's some people waiting for it. I swear to God.
Yeah, he was. He was all waiting for it. It's like he's not talking about starting his garden or getting his supply of grains up. He's like, my neighbors are starting to look tasty and I'll feed you to my daughter. I'm like, oh my God, what is like?
It's nuts. I think we should all be doing more. I went and bought some green onions for dinner, and then I took all the little stubby bottom parts and just put them in pots outside. And now, they're growing. I got green onions in my yard, like lots of them.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think we should all be doing little things like that. And I have now like green onions and some oregano and some mint. Those are the edibles that I have growing on my patio. I don't have a big yard. I've got a patio. But they're growing pretty well. I've got those things growing on my patio. And, maybe one of you guys gets a chicken. We trade some green onions for some eggs or something. Pretty soon this might come down to that kind of stuff. It's kind of weird to think about. But
I would be interested in finding out what my actual barter values are. Like, how much is a green onion worth to me? How many eggs? I don't know.
So I read this really weird article a long time ago, and it was talking about this village in China, some village way out in West China, where like some mining town, right? And all these people get off on the third shift of mining, and they go to these noodle stands, right? And it's like they show these pictures of it. And it's like 20 people standing around this hut, and in the middle is this crew with three dudes just jamming out noodles, right? And a noodle is $1. A bowl of noodles is $1. Right. And there's these noodle stands. There's like 4 or 5 of them in this tiny little town, this little mining town. There's 4 or 5 of these noodle stands. And at every one of them, a bowl of noodles is $1. Now, this one guy got a brother-in-law owns a chicken farm. And he starts putting not a whole, half of a boiled egg in the bowl of noodles, right? His bowl of noodles comes with half of a boiled egg. He boils an egg and he cuts it in half and he throws it in with the noodles. And that little extra bitty bit of protein, right, threw the whole thing out of balance. It fucked up this whole town. Because now all the other noodle guys are scrambling to get half an egg, and their bowl of noodles, there's not enough eggs. You should be charging more. They go to the magistrate, and the guy's like, I can't tell him what to charge, and then he's like, okay, fine, you got to charge more for your noodles. And he's like, fine, then no egg, and then all the other guys that put the egg in there, and now they get these egg contracts. It turned into this huge thing. This one guy disturbed the balance of the whole town by having a $1 bowl of noodles that came with half an egg. So I don't know. I mean, I think sometimes half an egg can make a big difference. We could be in a situation where that egg is, very valuable commodity.
My wife won't let us have a chicken is my only issue. So Samantha, you'll need a chicken.
Oh yeah, I'll put it on the deck or
Yeah.
balcony. Hope that it doesn't.
They don't really want big spaces anyway.
They like being cooped up.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like the dog would eat it.
Oh yeah. No, the dog will eat it. I forgot.
Yeah, you don't want
to have a dog.
You want a story like Christmas story type situation. The dogs come in and eat the family turkey.
Oh yeah, right.
You're working on that bird for years and getting it nice and fat, and then one day the dog eats it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what have you guys, has there been anything that do you feel like you have advice from quarantine now to people like let's say
who needs quarantine advice?
In 60
Everybody's
years,
doing it. Everybody, the
80
whole
years.
world is going through
you're putting a time capsule, you're going to leave a recording for your future generations for the next 100-year quarantine. What are you going to say? Like, what would you be ready for? Like, what would you tell them to be ready for, like, in the next quarantine? Like, me, I'd say, first off, make sure you're already using a bidet, right? Be on point with that. I would say, I think you need to find, like, the things that bring you peace. Like, have those already in your life. Like, I realize the garden brings me immense peace. It takes me away from Facebook, takes me away from the TV and hearing stuff. Cause I can't, like, TV is like less enjoyable right now to me than it used to be ever. Cause I can't.
Because it's like your lifeline. You're forced to it. It's the only thing connecting you to everything. It's weird. I actually learned to watch TV again when my wife moved out. We used to watch TV together, and we had a way that we sat on the couch where we were kind of close. We sat close to each other. And then when she moved out, I couldn't watch TV anymore. I couldn't watch shows. It got really like, I don't know. I was doing more comedy, or I'd play piano or do something, but I just could not sit and watch a show. I'd get jumpy, and it didn't work. But through the quarantine, I've been actually doing a bender on Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Oh,
and going back to, I watched that show when I was in high school, and then I left for college. Well, that show was, I think, in like season 3 or something, right when it starts getting really intense. And I kind of watched it intermittently, and then the thing kind of fell off. I'm going back to pick up all the little pieces that I missed from the show. I know the storyline, I know what happens, but I'm filling in all the gaps here. And holy smokes, it's such a great show. I'm so glad I saved it till now to watch it, because it's got 1 million episodes per season, and then 7 seasons. So I've got a lot of stuff to watch, and the shows are long.
I was in the same boat with that show. I was in college and I was doing theater, so I would miss episodes all the time, and I didn't record them, so it would just be like,
well, that was back when an episode, if you missed it, it was gone.
Yeah,
there was no streaming service.
Yeah,
you had to wait till it re-aired.
Yeah, and sometimes they'd be like, "What's this episode? I've never even seen this."
Yeah, the one would pop up on like a Sunday matinee rerun or something, and you're like, when did this happen?
Especially because Star Trek has never been the previously on Star Trek, and you go like, oh,
they don't do that. Yeah,
it's just
they do that on Picard and now Discovery, because those shows they're doing with a different format, with a stronger arc. But even Deep Space Nine, they had a really strong arc. They had a strong overall story arc, and the tension in that builds like really kind of high. And they give it to you, man. Spaceships blowing up all up in the joint. It's great. I love it. Like
it is, and it is super rewatchable. Like after I finished it all, I did rewatch it like 2 years ago, I think, from the beginning. Just started it, and I was like, "Holy crap! This is way better than I remember. This is a fantastic."
Dude, I just started season 4, and they turn up the heat. The beginning opening sequence changes, and the music's like a little more intense. Just a little. They change it just a little bit. It's a little more intense.
Once Cisco has a beard, game's over.
Yeah, then you're getting serious. Then you know. So they kind of went
like
the route,
Samantha's
the
blank
right,
look.
the right route there. Sorry. You know what? One of the reasons why I'm watching it is that I think the Nerd Syndicate was about to revoke my membership. They they were sending letters and saying, "Yo, dude, what are you keeping up? What have you been doing? What are you doing? You haven't watched Lord of the Rings in a while. What do you got to do something?" So
Lord of the Rings, I was thinking about that. Remember the good old days when you would get sick and you just start Lord of the Rings, and by the time it was over, you were all better.
Yeah. That's how I got through like a couple of holidays too. Like if I had to go to like a cabin up in the mountains with my in-laws for a week or something, I'd be like, okay, I'm bringing Lord of the Rings with all the bonus shit. We're watching this.
Nice.
That's hilarious. Samantha, you're not. I always forget. I should like the one thing I'm like always constantly blocking out about you is your lack of nerdiness, so that I'm like I forget what I don't want to know. Like Star Trek wasn't one of yours, right?
No, I didn't really get into it.
Now, when you say didn't get into it, did you ever give it a chance?
I didn't really try that much, but I generally though am not really into things that revolve in outer, like storylines where outer space is a big topic.
And this is how I don't even know how we're friends. That's honestly
what. Did you just say that?
Yeah, I'm like
that's like my only criteria for watching something now.
Like,
I want a spaceship. Give me a space and a good one. Don't give me some bullshit piece of cardboard on a string.
I don't know. Like I watched Guardians of the Galaxy, but I just
it's a week.
That was different, but
I watched Guardians. Oh, great.
I've seen some more stuff, but I don't know.
Well, yeah, I remember Joe said like as long as if it has a spaceship, he's on Netflix. A spaceship shows up, he's in. I'm
in, baby. I'll watch it. I'll watch any
except
bullshit
the one
on
I
Netflix.
asked you about that I told you should watch.
No, the Chinese one. I had watched that. Okay. And I think the problem was I got real drunk when I was watching that one. Because I started watching it and I'm like, dude, I've seen all this. And then I got like 20 minutes into it and I'm like, oh, I don't remember this. Right? And then I got a little more into it and I'm like, I'm kind of drunk. I better go to bed. So I did the same thing twice.
For any listeners here, I referred Joe. I texted Joe after I watched it. It's a Netflix movie called The Wandering Earth. I had heard about it as possibly one of the best sci-fi movies like on Netflix, and nobody like was talking about it. It's a Chinese film, so I put on because I like in my house it's harder for subtitles, so I put on the dubbing of it because
you villain, really? That's gross. Silas.
I was trying to watch. You know what? I did not.
You need to read.
Hold on. It was such a gorgeous film. I didn't want to take my eyes away from the special effects. Okay,
I will allow this because the production value on it is.
It's
really
amazing.
high.
I'm like, I can't even imagine watching this in a theater.
Yeah,
well,
I would love to see it in the theater.
I can't imagine watching anything in a theater right now, but
right.
Watch Dumb and Dumber. Who cares? Oh my God, it's one of the first things I'm doing.
Is watching Dumb and Dumber?
No, going to a theater. As soon as it's open and I can it's safe. It feels
really
safe.
Well, see, that's what. I feel like as soon as it opens and once it's safe, in my mind, very different things.
We're in Washington State. I feel a little more confidence here.
I think honestly, if you required people to wear a mask, and then nowadays a lot of the theaters are pre-selling the seats right on the little chart on the internet or whatever. If you were to, you can even flag them somehow. But if you set seats up in clusters of like 4 seats, and then spread those clusters out so that people could bring their family and like sit in these little clusters, and then you spread the clusters out, and everybody's wearing a mask, and then have some essential workers. I'll call them essentials now. Have some of the essentials go in and wipe all that stuff down, right? Between shows. It could be all right. Right?
I think, yeah.
Like,
I mean, am I delusional? Is that like,
no, I think that sounds like a safe option for the audiences. It's just, it would be about 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours in the same space with recycled air. But with everybody having masks on, then that might be,
Yeah, it's still, I guess it all depends on what we discover. If we discover that the virus bothers, if it does work in recycled air, if that matters, or if they,
I think you're going to see a lot of, if you're looking for hot investment tips right now, anybody who's manufacturing any kind of air filter is going to be making some money, because people are going to be installing crazy shit after this. Yeah. I mean, movie theaters or airplanes or shopping malls. I mean, shopping malls were already getting their asses kicked, and now this happens. No one's going to go to a shopping mall anymore.
Oh, you know what's so funny? I got this, I accidentally texted somebody. I got a new phone.
Ooh,
the iPhone 11, but if you accidentally type it, like hit a button, it starts dictating. I didn't even hear it. I just looked over and there was like a paragraph written that I'm like, I didn't say that. Well, oh, that's me. It had been recorded, it had been dictating everything I was saying. So I don't want to send that as a message.
That'd be very confusing.
That's very disorienting to anybody. Well, Samantha, what are you going to do? Like, first thing that's safe. If they say it's safe, what are you going to do? No more COVID. It's gone.
Honestly, I kind of feel like I wouldn't want to do anything for another 2 weeks after they say it's safe.
What? Okay.
I mean,
you're mentally prepared that it's safe that day when it's all like, okay. Like
when it's safe for you, when you want to go.
I mean, then I would love to just go see my family and give them hugs. That would be the first thing I'd want to do.
Hugs. Oh my God, I miss those. I hug a kid. I hug a little 5-year-old. I mean, he's a good hugger, but at the same time, it's not the same. Sometimes you need, I got some friends like big burly types. They give great hugs.
Yeah.
They'll crush you with a hug.
Yeah, not everybody is I get it. A good hug is like, good stuff.
Oh. No, I still remember the last hug. I was actually talking to someone. I bumped into someone at the gas station. We were far apart, and I was like, Tina, hi. And so we were chatting, and a mutual friend of ours had just visited right before the shutdown and saw both of us. And so our friend there, Jenny Nadler, if you're listening, she was the last person both of us hugged. Like for both
Weird.
of us, like we both hugged her, and it was the last person we saw outside our family before we found out, stop being near people. And we're like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
I would trade half a boiled egg for a hug.
Oh, that's on the barter scale. Okay,
I like it.
Half a boiled egg. Well, Joe,
I would go to the beach. I think that's what I want to do the most right now, especially if the thing lifts in summer. I want to go down to the Oregon coast, take my kid down to the beach, take some long walks on the beach with my kid and the dog. That would be really nice. The beaches are all closed. I mean, I know some people still go out there, and a lot of times if it's like a local resident, this is what I've heard. I've not been there. I've heard that if it's like a local resident, like just going out for their morning walk or whatever, the cops don't fuck with them. But then a lot of times, like the cops will go out and be like, no, you got to go back inside on a beach.
Yeah.
Which is weird. A big open area.
Maybe they don't want you to see the aliens, right? Who are coming out. The ship's coming by. That's why they want everyone inside. So you don't see
just like dolphins swimming around. I'm like, people are these aliens? Fucking dolphin, dude. The Earth is coming back, baby.
What do you two think of the conspiracy theories about it? Like, are you?
My favorite conspiracy theory, the one that holds the most water for me, is that because it's based in some kind of fact, is that the CDC in China, their version of the CDC, it's in Wuhan, and they do research on coronaviruses in that facility, and so there's like all these people, and Dr. Fauci is like one of the people that helped him establish the lab through his expertise, and he's got connections, and because they are in the same field of work, of course they're connected, But I've heard some conspiracy theories that are like Dr. Fauci's the one that's like made all this shit happen, and it's like he, biowarfare of the Chinese, and it got out because somebody wasn't careful and they threw it in a garbage bag and the garbage man, whatever, some weird shit. People got some theories,
Uh-huh.
I've been enjoying those because a good conspiracy theory for me has to be wackadoo, but it also has to have like in it at some point in the theory, it has to have a real strong anchor in verifiable truth. So Wuhan and their CDC being in the same city could be a total coincidence, right? Maybe it really was bat soup or whatever. I don't know. But shit, that for me, that's a bone to chew on. Somebody, for conspiracies, that's great. Let's work with this.
What I love about the conspiracies of these government agencies being involved with it is like how people can simultaneously think like the DNC is completely incompetent and inept, and yet able to run this massive conspiracy, a global conspiracy, and pretty much hide it from everybody except for the truthers, right? Like the government's always conspiring against the people, yet they're also completely incompetent. So,
well, that's why I don't think Trump's behind anything. This guy's obviously so stupid. None of his businesses work.
He would tell you. He would tell you. He's like,
nothing he does works, but he's a really effective pawn in a very powerful, geopolitical thing. Like people are like figuring out how to manipulate him. If I find out that Dr. Fauci is a Freemason, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. He's probably controlling Trump, right?
that'd be awesome. Do you follow any of the conspiracy theories, Samantha? Or is it like sci-fi? You're like, no.
I do like some sci-fi, just not the outer space sci-fi. I don't really. For a minute, I was looking at this story or that story, but no.
Do you love? Oh,
Insane,
Bill Gates is around the world trying to sterilize people and wants to put vaccine. He wants to put chips in everybody. I think people think they are far too interesting. I'm like, I don't think.
Well, that's the thing. Care. Everybody's like, NSA is listening to you. I'm like, so what? They're gonna hear me talking to my wife about the shit I forgot at the store. Whatever. They want to listen. Let them. I mean, some people also like the computers recording everything we say, all the stuff we're doing right now on this podcast, probably getting hacked by a machine.
Yeah.
But then once the machine hacks it, it's stored somewhere, and then somebody has to want to go listen to it.
Right.
Like we're having a hard enough time getting people to want to listen to this. We want them to listen to this.
Also, for a big hit.
I mean, I'm like, if the NSA is listening to this podcast, I'm like, one more listener. Awesome.
Please subscribe. I'm like, yeah. It's
like
pretty unavoidable, like to have, no recording or sort of internet footprint. Like that's.
My ex-wife's one of the people who's like doesn't want Alexa. I got to be careful saying the name.
Oh yeah, no, I don't like
because she doesn't want. She's like they're listening.
I'm not into that stuff either. To be honest, like I'm not trying to make it any easier for people to hear me and my.
So what happens if I gave you like an Alexa for your birthday?
What would that? What's the purpose of an Alexa? It's just basically like a.
I don't know, to have it. To ask it what's the weather. Give me a recipe.
Device. It's a smart device, and it can play music for you, and it can do all kinds of things. But
So, like, I don't need an Alexa. I have a boyfriend. You
Go-
play some. No, I don't.
So if I gave you one, you wouldn't use it.
I mean, I feel like that might hurt me to my soul because it would show how little you know me and Dutch. Why would you do this?
It's trying to help your life become easier and better.
Well, if you gave me an Alexa for my birthday's coming up in June, so you do have some time
Oh,
to think of something better.
Well, my kids are
No,
coming.
I had a Siri. Is that what's on your phone, Siri?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want these two to scrap. I want to see what Alexa and Siri do behind the schoolyard.
Why do you gotta put the two women against each other?
Oh, it's not. Are they women? I think you can change the voices on them.
Yeah, Siri's not necessarily a woman. It's sexist, Samantha.
Thank you.
It's misogynistic.
What would happen if can you start a conversation between the two of them? Would that be possible?
That'd be pretty awesome. See,
Could you get Alexa? Could you reprogram to Alexa to start everything it was going to do with Siri? Just say, like Alexa, like every time you tell me the weather, I want you to say Siri first. So it'd be like, Siri, the weather today is, 10 degrees. And then if Siri heard that, Siri could be like, no, the weather today is this. And maybe they could actually have a discussion about it.
But they program Siri matches your voice. So
program it to match with Alexa's voice.
Yeah. Okay.
If you programmed a Siri as if you had Siri as like a hatchling, and then you cracked that egg open and then pair bonded it to an Alexa, and then see what the two. I wonder if they'd make a weird little family if they talk to each other. Is this how Skynet starts?
Yes.
I like this concept. I like this. I was thinking a celebrity death match, like Siri versus Alexa.
Yeah, and then throw in the fictitious one from the Avengers. It becomes what's the guy with the thing in his head?
Not Nexus.
Vision. Vision was a computer program, right?
Yeah, Jared,
Jerry Curl.
Jerry Curl. Voltron. No. Blanking.
I can't remember.
Totally blanking. I feel like I should know this.
You said blanket. I'm like, that was
my nerd. I do have one more. I have another nerd recommendation. It's sci-fi, but it's not space, Samantha, so you might watch it. Okay. It's on Amazon Prime. Upload. Have you seen it? It's called Upload. I'm 2 episodes in, but I'm kind of hooked. Actually, no, I'm 3 episodes. I've done 3. It's about a guy who. So when you're about to die, you have a choice. Like if you have the money, you have a choice of either dying, go to the ER or whatever, to try to stop it, or you can go to get uploaded, and so you get uploaded into the cloud, and you can pick whatever. Like there's different resorts that you could join or whatever, but you get uploaded into this massive computer, and it's a VR world, and they've got it so that you feel like it's real, and you can even interact with people from real life when they put on like a virtual reality headset and whatnot. But there's also a mystery in this because this guy he died. He shouldn't have died, as we see. Like we think he might have been killed. We're not sure.
Oh, he has to solve his murder from the cloud.
Maybe, but it sounds kind of lame when I'm describing it, but it takes place.
Oh, but that's true with everything, Silas.
2056, I think, is when it's supposed to take place. And
so when the pandemic ends.
Yeah. Once COVID's over. It's really fascinating how they picture the future, like just different ways. Like when they're about to have sex with somebody, they put like little video cameras on the other person, and they say into the camera, "I consent to this. I consent to this," and then they go at it. Like
it's kind of like Russian dash cams, right?
Right. Yeah. And then everybody, of course, they rate each other all the time. Still 5 stars or whatever. On ratings, it's
Wait, so they make them after they have sex?
Yeah, on your date. How your date was there.
Oh man.
But just try out the pilot episode. I'll recommend anybody. They're like 35, 40-minute episodes. Just try it. It's called Upload on Amazon. I think it's funny. It's sci-fi, and it's got some points about where we're heading in the whole VR thing, and pretty amazing. Have you tried VR, Samantha?
Yes.
Yes, I don't feel like you have.
I'm thinking. Wait.
I feel like
I think I did that one open mic, or not. It wasn't an open mic. It was a show, someplace in Capitol Hill, and he brought his VR set for us to like do a fighter pilot, like try to while we were
doing your set.
Yeah, trying to do our sets. Then
did they have like a camera so everybody could see, or like a TV screen, or
the TV was there? It was cool. It was really cool.
That's sort of interesting. I want you to when this is over, I need you to come and try out a roller coaster or something.
Oh, that'd be fun. Yeah, I kind of want to get a video game or something. I don't know. Like, I've already watched so many shows. I've rewatched some of my favorite shows. My boss told me to watch Ozark. Like, our team at work was talking about it. So I was like, okay. So I actually watched all 3 seasons.
In a day?
In 3 days.
It doesn't take long. Where are you going? There's nothing to do. You know, I think for your dollar, for your entertainment dollar, video games are really good because you buy a game and even an expensive game, can be quite a bit of money, but you're going to play it for like hundreds of hours, right? If it's one of the real premium ones.
Well,
otherwise, how much is an average game? Like $30 or something?
What? No, average game is $70 now.
$70. Okay, fine, $70. How many hours are you going to play that game? Right.
Well,
you go to a movie theater, you pay $15 and you're in a movie for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Right. Or you pay for your subscription for your, Netflix streaming or something like that, whatever that is a month. And then how many hours you can figure it out. But for video games, holy smokes, like your dollar goes a long way.
I'm currently playing Red Dead Redemption 2. It's a cowboy game. It has apparently something like 80 hours of gameplay, like in the single player mode. Like it's an insane amount. Maybe not 80. I think it might be 40.
It's a lot.
It's between 40 and 80. And then they have an online version that you can go play. What kind of games do you like, Samantha? We'll pick a game for you.
Yeah, that's the thing is I don't know that I have I don't know if I really will have the patience to play video games. I haven't played many since being an adult. And like the only ones that I play, I'll probably want to only play for 20 minutes because I like fight games. Like you like fighting like that? I know I like playing the games.
I mean, that's what I mean. You like the.
I'm only going to want to play Mortal Kombat for like 20 minutes. I'm not going to play that all quarantine and get to be an expert.
I was wondering, I wondered because I didn't know if it matches the theater background because I do like some of these games with stories that are just so deep, and the acting is really good, and I get sucked into it. Like Grand Theft Auto 5, I always made fun of the games from what I knew about them, but when I played this last one, I was amazed because it was
it was deep, dude. That thing had a plot.
Yeah, it has a good plot.
All the characters actually changed through the game too. The characters underwent changes through their actual motivations and everything. It was like a story told in the game. But also, you can shoot cops and rob hookers and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't need a video game for that.
That's called Friday Night.
I'm not going to do that. I shouldn't even joke right now. Tensions are high. Ooh.
Yeah. They need jobs too.
Man, I feel like
6 feet away.
I feel like I want to take a hiatus from Facebook because I just how don't you just you see enraged? Like like when I think I can't hear any more bad information in one day, I'll just scroll and see somebody's post and I'm like, oh, there's another thing to scream about that I can't. I'm like, I need to get off this. But
yeah, it's weird. Facebook for me is very like megalomania because it's like I don't read anybody else's stuff. I just look and see how my stuff is doing. Like, is anybody reading what I posted? Like, oh shoot, it's about me. It's very egocentric in this way. It's just not good either because when I'm checking on it, I'm like, oh, how am I doing? How am I doing on the Facebook? So when I take a break, it's just because I'm like, maybe I should just, that's actually when I read the real news. I go to the websites from the newspapers and read their articles. On Facebook, I'm just reading some BuzzFeed bullshit somebody passed along.
The real news or the fake news?
It's all fake, but yeah.
Well, I used to like that one newspaper, that one magazine. I don't get it anymore. Have you guys heard of it? It's called The Week. I think that's what it's called, The Week. And what they would do for some of the biggest news stories from around the world, they would take, I think around the world, but at least America, they would do this, take something from a conservative side and the more liberal side. So you could see the two different ones right next to each other.
Oh, I like that.
I really like that.
It's called
I had
The
a high
Week?
school teacher who did that. That's pretty good. I like that.
Wait, it's called The Week?
I think so. I haven't read it in a few years.
The Week magazine?
Yeah.
Checking it out right now. That would be theweek.com, the official website with every...
It's at least 7 times as good as Today.
I'm going to check this out. This actually looks...
Oh, sweet.
And I'll just 5 things you need to know now. Trump
What's
ally and Republican fundraiser named new head of Postal Service. Awesome.
Yeah, he named a new postmaster general, one of his cronies, which should be really interesting because he's trying to shut down the post office. If Trump shuts down the post office, this country is going to go into just absolute chaos because there won't be any social security checks mailed out.
Yeah. Okay. Number 2. Trump defies experts and reportedly thinking coronavirus deaths are overcounted. Okay. Number 3, Ruth Bader Ginsburg released from hospital. Thank fucking God.
Right.
Mustafa al-Kadhimi chosen as Iraq's new prime minister. And number 5,
I was rooting for him. I'm glad to see he won. I don't know that. He could be. Was he the asshole? Wait, no, that bastard. He shouldn't have won. The other guy.
And
what am I supposed to choose?
Number 5, Trump reverses, says coronavirus task force will continue on indefinitely.
Oh yeah.
They got a lot of bad press for like saying they were going to cancel that thing.
It's oh my God. See
We're done. We're done with it. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, 42 public companies are returning their small business loans after Nuchkin threat. I don't know what that is. Oh, man, you got a lot of... Samantha, this is great. I'm going to be reading this.
All right. I'm glad I helped. What do they have right now? Are they still doing mail or where are they?
What? What do you mean? They have a magazine or an online. So...
But you have to pay for it online, or do you just
not
get to
yet?
read?
Well, I mean, I use the I use the blocker anyway, so that I don't have to pay for nothing.
Wow, that's interesting. I don't know about that.
On Firefox, you just go incognito, and it doesn't save your cookies, so it doesn't know when you. It's the only
nice. Good idea.
I'll use up my 5 views on May 1st. I can't. First of the month, I'm done. Can do. Anyway, hey, that's all the time we got. We're done.
Yeah, we all got someplace to be, right?
People are listening. Hey, it's a lot harder because people's commutes are a lot shorter, so they don't need to listen to as much anyway. I don't know.
They're also sitting around their house with nothing to do but listen to people talk about stuff.
Let's hear.
Especially,
Hey,
especially lonely ones like me.
We should.
with no one else here.
I should listen to that podcast about those 3 people that are sitting around talking about what the hell they're not doing.
You know what? I'm going to listen to this podcast later just to remember that I had a conversation with somebody.
Actually, you know what? Sometimes I do re-listen to our podcasts, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember. I had such a good time chatting. I'll put it on the background while I'm working, sometimes.
Oh yeah, no, I used to do that. But hey, we're in so many episodes now. It's hard to keep up with my life.
Well, one thing I like to listen to when I'm going on with my life is me.
Oh yeah, what I usually do is I just take my track and I just listen to myself talking and laughing at things that I like. Oh,
Wait, you mean you'll go back
funny.
and listen to your own just one half of the conversation?
Yeah, just me. Why do I need to listen to? Like I was listening to anyone else anyway.
So you don't even know what made you laugh. So if we do a podcast and you're not listening to my half, and then you just start laughing all of a sudden,
sure.
You don't want to remember the thing I said.
I was joking. You're kind of ruining my joke, but
I don't know. Well, what I do is for the first 10 minutes of the podcast, I say, "Hey Siri," and then and after that, it's "Hey Alexa." Just kind of back and forth.
I think Siri and Alexa should start a podcast.
What's it going to be called?
I don't know. I think it would be called something like "Ask Me a Question." Do you want to know the weather? I don't know. What would it?
That's a great idea.
Do you want to know the weather? That might be a good one, actually.
Yeah.
They always have those little suggestions. They have like, ask me about the stock market. It's like, I'm broke. Fuck you. I can barely afford a phone, you bastard. Who do you think you're talking to?
Tell me, just say pizza rolls. Pizza rolls.
Yeah. Now, see, if Siri was an actual, they'll get to the point where it'll be a thing. But if Siri was an actual like a protocol droid or something in my house, I might actually be kind of down with that. If I could say like, Siri, make me chocolate chip cookies, and then like 45 minutes later, Siri would be like, "Here's some chocolate chip cookies. Would you like to know the weather?" I would be down. I would be down with that. That'd be great.
Siri, end the show.
Show is ending.
All right, thanks for coming on.
Well, thanks for having me over to my house.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes.
All right, black and a half.
Live long and prosper and prosper and prosper and prosper.